So Pokemon Horizons episode 121, man, where do we start with this one? What a incredible episode I just watched. So this one follows on from the last one where we know that Freed is returning. He randomly rings Dot out the blue and says, yeah, I'm coming back from space. Everyone's like, what? Why are you in space? What the hell is going on? But the man is coming back, the leader of the Rising Volt Tacklers, and it just gets everyone excited to see him again. All the adults are prepping. Molly's like, yeah, I got to make sure to give him a health check. Who knows what goes on in space? Murdoch's ready to cook up some of his favourite dishes. All is getting the ship ready. They're just, you can tell the adults are just all really excited to see their beloved friend return to them, because it must have been pretty hard for them. And even the kids getting everything ready. They're setting out Freed balloons. They're ready to just celebrate and have this man back. But it is pretty hilarious that Freed just keeps ringing them like, I got another problem, like, I'm not going to be able to land, the parachute's broke. So they basically have to come up with a plan to stop the shuttle from crashing. And this segment was actually really funny. It took up like the first 10 minutes of the episode, but it was actually pretty interesting seeing them try to come up with a way to stop him from basically dying. They need to come up with a plan to stop the shuttle, and they come up with all these funny imaginary plans where Meowscarada can catch it with its little string thing, or Dot's Tinkerton can hammer it back and try to stop it, but they all just end hilariously bad in their imagination. And we also get a Gingero callback. I'm so glad for this, because this was one of the funniest jokes in Horizons in my opinion. I loved this first episode where we saw that Ludlow actually has another alter ego called Gingero, who was a famous actor, and he did all these films which all end in a Sharpedo attacking, which was absolutely hilarious. It did all like the tropey anime where you got like the teacher trying to band together a bunch of misfit students, but then a Sharpedo attacks, or the romantic couple on the beach, but then a Sharpedo attacks. So it was pretty hilarious that they called back to this. And of course Gingero back in the day made a film about space travel and Sharpedo attacking in space, of course, but he basically uses it to say, look, this is how space travel works, this is how the shuttle comes back from orbit, and it uses a parachute to slowly fall back to Earth. But of course Freed's parachute is broken, so they basically have to turn around, meet Freed back in some specific coordinates. We see the return of the button, the infamous Infinite Rising form, just so they can pick up some speed and get to this area, which is cool to see that. I mean, the last time we saw it was when the incident happened with Freed, so it was pretty cool for it to come full circle and be used here in a positive sense. Also, side note, it was nice to see Metagross actually do something, because I always feel like we have a damn Metagross on the ship and it barely does anything. But Freed comes in to land in his shuttle. Everyone is using their attacks to try and subdue him from falling. Pogogo is using its like barrier thing to try and stop, and everyone's using their moves, and it looks like it doesn't work. It doesn't end up being enough. Freed is about to fall to his doom, but then one Pokemon starts running. Captain Pikachu starts running off the ship and uses Volt Tackle to try and save Freed and stop the shuttle from falling. It's basically one last effort, and it just helplessly pretty much dives and it's floating in midair. And it was such an emotional moment for Captain Pikachu to be the one to do this. It was perfect. So you got Captain Pikachu basically floating in the middle of the sky. I'm thinking it's going to learn Electro Web or something crazy to try and spring the shuttle back up. But then we see Pogogo give some of its power to Cap, and it terastallizes, which is crazy. The first time Captain Pikachu has ever terastallized, and it turns into the Flying Terra-type to basically help the shuttle and guide it back up onto the battlefield on the ship. It's such a great moment, and I just thought it was perfect that Pikachu was the one to do this. He was the one to get that last final save. It was so fitting, and I didn't really expect it. I probably should have going into it, but I didn't think they would do these emotional moments so well, and they really nailed it here. Freed shuttle lands back on the ship, and someone emerges from all the smoke, and Orla has this emotional outburst, which was really cool to see, because she was the one that was most upset about Freed leaving. She's probably his longest friend, and probably some romantic feelings in there for him, so she was just so emotional, crying. And then, of course, she wasn't even hugging Freed. She was hugging a Mega Starmie. Like, what the hell? Just a Mega Starmie out of nowhere. This man has just brought back another Pokemon, which completely shocked me. I didn't get spoiled for this one, so this was actually a really nice surprise. Whereas Freed is standing on a different part, he's just saying, oh, look how big all the kids have got and stuff. But Freed is rocking a new outfit, he looks so cool, new hairstyle, he's got this spacesuit thing going on, and it's just so good to have this man back. I think they captured so many different moments. I was wondering who's going to be the first one to say something to Freed after he returns. I was hoping it would be Cap, but then we get this emotional outburst from Cap where he flies into Freed, tackles him, and this was the best moment of the whole episode for me, where Captain Pikachu starts crying. He's usually quite stern and solid, doesn't really show any emotion, but he's full on bawling his eyes out here. So emotional to see his partner back, and Freed says sorry for leaving you all alone and thank you. And I can't lie, this one got me as well. It got me bawling out because it's such an emotional moment, and I was just so glad to see Freed back as well. But that's it, Freed is reunited with his crew. They all embrace him at the end, and of course he has a Mega Starmie, which I don't know how he got that. I don't know, I haven't actually played Legends ZA, so maybe there's some sort of story that will tie in to him getting that, but it's really cool for them to do this. I did not expect that at all. There were so many things in this episode that I didn't expect. I didn't expect the Terror type Pikachu to happen. I didn't expect Mega Starmie. So a lot of good surprises here. I thought it would just be a bog standard sort of return episode, but they did so well with this one. So many emotional moments for Captain Pikachu and Freed especially. This was for sure one of the best episodes of Pokémon Horizons, and that's not even recency bias, that's just good writing and good emotional character development that I feel we haven't had that much recently. They didn't undercut any of the emotional moments with or you know, some silliness. They did do the Orla gag where she's hugging Starmie, but I feel like that still worked really well because she was showing everything and saying everything she wanted to say, and Freed still heard all that, but just to see the surprise of the Mega Starmie was enough to make that moment good. So I just thought this episode was perfect. It was so well done. The first 10 minutes was the crew getting ready, so excited to have their leader back, planning his return, thinking of ways they can help him on his return. And then the second half, the actual return of one of my favourite characters in this series. I think Freed early on was the standout for this show. Obviously the kids went on and took that mantle a bit more, but he was the guy from the start for me, and it's just so great to have him back. New outfit, new Mega Starmie. Hopefully he's been up to some interesting stuff and he actually fills everyone in. I'm looking forward to next week's battle with Roy. It's just so good to have him back, and the episode was just done so well. So many good jokes, so many good callbacks to previous episodes. I feel like this episode was just a love letter to the series as a whole and everyone who's been watching since the start, really. But yeah, just a great episode, and no doubt in my mind this episode gets a 10 out of 10. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Are you happy that the boy Freed is back? Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.